Oh, hey y'all. Welcome to another episode of the O Show. I'm O and I'm here for your amusement. Okay, so I have actually been wanting to do a review of this movie for a while now. And by a while, I mean like a month ago. But I was doing like other videos and things and what have you, and y'all, it's a lot. I've actually been watching a lot, and I've been trying to like figure out fight my battles of what I want to talk about. But the time has come for me to finally talk about Evil Dead Rise, and yeah, I'm not a big huge fan of this movie. But let's talk about it. Cue the music. Y'all, so, okay, look. Let me set the mood, okay? I got my candle. I got my red wine. Are you feeling spooky? I feel spooky. It's fucking dark as hell. So I hope y'all can see me because I'm already black as hell. Alright, so I went on eBay, right? And we are going to read from the book of the The Book of the Dead is called the Necronomicon. Wait, that's not right. The Necronomicon. Okay, you know what? We're not going to read from the Book of the Dead because, you know what? That's what this movie is all about. And I ain't got time because, you know, black people ain't got time with ghosts in our house. But look, let me tell you about this movie because I wanted to love this movie so much. Like, so much. And I actually just watched it again. So so we're talking about the Evil Dead Rise. And it's from 2023, and it is currently streaming on Max right now, right? And when it first premiered on Max, I watched it. I don't remember how long ago that was, but that's how long ago it was when I watched it. And I had to watch it again recently, and unfortunately, I had to watch it again recently because I wanted to love this movie so much. Okay, so look. I'm about to spoil the hell out of this movie if you haven't watched it yet. So, if you have watched this movie, stay tuned. But if you haven't, you know, you may want to cut out. But, here's my take on this movie. Okay, so this movie opens up with a scene in the woods that includes a cabin. So we have this cabin in the woods with these three people. This is girl Jessica and like her cousin. And I think Jessica has a boyfriend named Caleb, who's a dick. And, really good scene, right? And really good, like, title card. Like, that was a really good title card in this movie. But, there's, the girl, Jessica, I believe, is in the bed. And, the killings start. She, like, beheads or scalps her cousin, and like craziness ensues. Okay, so now the next scene after that is like a 1-day card announcement. So we're like, okay, so this is the day before all this shit that happens in this cabin in the woods, but it's not starring any of these people who was in this cabin, right? So now we skip to this character named Beth, who finds out she's pregnant, and now I guess she's in trouble like Madonna from the 80s and needs to go like hang out with her sister in LA. So she goes to her sister's apartment building, and her sister is named Ellie, and Ellie has 3 kids. A boy named Danny, a daughter named Bridget, and a little girl named Cassie, right? So Beth shows up, and then she has a conversation with her sister, who I guess they're estranged. Is this candle burning like faster than it should? It's ruining my vibe. Okay, so look, right? Apparently Beth's man like left, like her baby daddy. And so in order to speak to her sister, she sends her kids out for a pizza. Now, I don't know exactly what time of night this movie is taking place, but I'm sure I wouldn't send my kids out, all 3, for pizza. But she does. And so they take this car, they go get the pizza, and then there's total foreshadowing happening with this garage door of their apartment building that's like getting stuck, and they have to keep hitting the button and blah blah blah. So okay, that's gonna come up later in the movie. Alright, so these kids go get pizza, they come back, and there's an earthquake that hits the area. So the earthquake is shaking and baking about, okay? And when the earthquake is over, the boy, Danny, like there's a hole, so they came back to the garage, and there's a hole in the bottom of the garage, and he goes to explore. Now, first of all, this dummy, like, I don't live in LA, I live in Chicago. We don't got earthquakes, but I know that if there's an earthquake and there's a hole in the ground, my ass is not gonna go into this hole in the ground. Like, come on now. But he does, like a stupid idiot, and finds this tomb that's in, well, not a tomb, I guess it's more like a shrine-ish, of this long lost, like, underground vault that used to be part of a bank. Now, what I don't understand is, okay, so all this is happening in an apartment building that has an underground parking garage, and there's a bank vault under that? Because if there used to be a bank on that spot and you're going to build an apartment building over it, why would you build over a bank vault, then put the parking garage on top of it, then put an apartment building? Like, it just, like this layer, it would have made more sense if there was a wall in the parking garage that fell down due to the earthquake, and then they're like, oh, this was like this is part of the vault, and they just kind of covered it up. Anyway, but that's just me. If I'm crazy, let me know in the comments below. Because that's just one thing, y'all. And then, oh my god, these kids went out for pizza, came back and dropped 3 pizzas on the ground, and there was even a shot where the little girl was eating a slice of the pizza, so the pizza did not look all that damaged, and that was just the pizza on the top. And these fools left that pizza in the garage. Like, look, I'm a fat boy, and you gonna tell me that y'all went out for 3 pizzas, left the 3 pizzas in the garage, just walked away, and no one was like, let's just scrape the cheese off the bottom? Like, nope, and no. Okay? Alright, so anyway, back to this idiot, Danny, who goes into the bank vault in a hole after an earthquake, which I'm sure there are like aftershocks that are coming, but whatever. Sees all this shit and takes like a book with teeth. Well, okay, first of all, your first red flag is, why is this candle burning so goddamn quick? Look, y'all, like I had that, look. You know in the movies when people are like, oh my god, this house is so haunted, and they're carrying this. I have one of these. I'm so excited. But look, shut up. So, what was I saying? So Danny takes this book that he opens up, and all these like bugs fly off, and that was your red flag right there. Like, let me just put this shit back. But no, what does he do? He takes it along with some records. Who recorded this shit on vinyl? Okay, so they go upstairs and Danny plays a record on his record player. How convenient, because he wants to be a DJ. And shenanigans ensues after that. So I like how the mom was like, you guys took the elevator after an earthquake? Oh my god. And then what does she do? She takes some laundry and decides to take the elevator down to the first floor. So I swear, that's my mom. My mom would tell me not to do something, and 5 minutes later she would do the same damn thing she told me not to do. But she gets possessed because, you know, the record is, no one is reading from the book of the Nakamumanu, and but this record, I guess, this priest is saying the words, and that conjures the demon. So the demons come to the building, and they possess the mom, and now the mom is possessed. But, so, look, here's one thing I did like about this movie. I like that we finally have an Evil Dead that's not in a cabin, because when the movie opened up, it was like, oh god, they're in a cabin. And I had no idea that this movie was taking place in a apartment building. So I was totally getting like some Child's Play vibe, like, you know, in Child's Play at the end, they're all running around and Chucky is chasing the cop and the mom and Andy in their apartment, right? I was also giving like Demons 2. If you ever, I'm probably gonna do a video about Demons and Demon 2, but that movie were demons in an apartment building, and that movie just scared the shit out of me, because for like my first 10 years of life, I actually lived in an apartment building in Noble Square in Chicago, and, and I used to think like, oh my god, if shit happens in this apartment building, what am I going to do? And that used to scare the shit out of me. That's why I like that movie. But like, this movie was giving me that, like, what do you do in an apartment building, which I really did like. But like, after the demon possesses the mom, and then she comes back into her apartment, it's okay. Like, things are going here and there. So you have the mom and the sister and the 3 children. The mom comes in possessed. The power is now out, because once you get possessed, apparently the power goes out, right? There's a part where the mom like throws up this white liquid like all over the entry into the kitchen, but then where does that shit go? Because there's other times where they're running around that apartment, and there should have been some slippage in that apartment of that shit that she threw up, but it just seems to be gone after that. Or no one's getting stuck and sticky like in that mess on the floor. I don't understand that, because there should be a mess on that floor. And side note, did anyone notice, like, okay, so this apartment building that these people live in is supposed to be, like, torn down in a month. Like, no one's packing. I don't understand. And this apartment is huge. And there are all these lights turned on in this apartment, but it is still so fucking dark in that place. Like, I don't understand. How do you have all these lamps in this apartment and it's still fucking dark? Okay, so then the power goes out when the demon comes in, and they start lighting all these candles, which pretty much lit up the house the same way before anyone was possessed. I don't get it. I don't get why it was so nice and bright. No. I don't get why it was not nice and bright in this place. And then the lighting turned dark once the demon light took over. Like, I don't understand that. So when the mom gets possessed, the people are freaking out, and then they hit her and stuff, and she dies, right? So they put the mom in her bed, but like, who tucks a dead body into the bed? Like, they dragged her out of the apartment. They were dragging her through the hallway to get her out. They discover that the stairs have collapsed and blah, 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 blah. And then they bring her body back into the house. They put the body in the bed, and then it just seems like someone tucked her in so that she's like nice and snug inside the bed. Who does that? She's dead. Just plop her. Y'all dragged her outside. Y'all could just left her in the hallway. Like, that's gross. And there's cooties. And y'all had time to put this dead body in a bed, tucked her in with her arms out like she's Snow White or something. Like, I didn't get that. Alright, so after this unnecessary roughness, there are the neighbors that live on the same floor, right? There's this old dude who talks about his cat likes to go into the vent, which I don't understand how that happens, but of course that's more foreshadowing. And there are these like two boys who are at the door earlier talking about watching Nightmare on Elm Street movies. But then this third person shows up named Gabriel, who's like super hot boy. But who's Gabriel? Is Gabriel these other two boys' brother? Like, they said their mom is out and they're gonna watch Freddy movies, and that's all they said. But then this other guy, Gabriel, shows up. Like, is he related to the boys, or he's just this random other person that lives on the floor? Like, I feel like they don't really explain that. And how many people live in this apartment that's gonna be demolished in a month and they're just still living there like doop-de-doo? Oh my god. Okay, y'all. So then the mom who they thought was dead and tucked into bed is obviously not dead, and she jumps up and is running amok around the apartment. It just starts killing people. At one point ends up in the hallway, and she gets locked out of the apartment, right? Okay, smart, whatever. So she kills the neighbors, unfortunately. And there was a nice little shout out to like an older Evil Dead movie where she bites the eyeball out of, I think, Gabriel, and it spits into like another person's mouth. Like, who cares? I don't know. These people dead. So now she's like trapped in the hallway. I feel like a demon would just find a way in either way and just start banging on the door. But you know what? Just leave that alone. But there's a part where like the little girl Cassie is like looking out the peephole and sees her mom out there, and then her mom's all like, "Oh, we're better, we're fine, we want to come back in." Like, who the fuck is we? That was your red flag, Cassie. Like, I never in my life, well, except one time when I watched that movie Beast. I should have did a video about that movie. I might still do one, but like, Idris Elba had like two daughters who were like hard-headed as hell, and I have never wanted a kid to die so much as I wanted those two kids to die, because they were so fucking hard-headed. Like, stay your ass in the car. But anyway, that's a whole other movie. In this movie, you got fucking Danny raising the dead, and then you got Cassie who goes, "Oh, Mommy, you don't look good, but I'm just gonna open the door." And she does. She opens the door, and thank God there was like a chain lock on it, so she couldn't get in. But this like little asshole, like, can I call kids assholes on here? You know what? I already did, because you know what? It's true. Stupid. Like, I was like, well, you know what? Just die. You just put it on. You just fucking all our lives up. Like, fuck our lives. So, oh my god, you guys. And then, okay. So, back to this cat, right? Like, the one neighbor's like, my cat always gets into the vent. And then, what's her name? Ellie, the mom. She hears the cat in the vent and goes, "Oh, well, I know what I'm going to do." And then she gets into the vent. That's how she gets back into the apartment. But then, my question is, what happens to the cat? Did she kill the cat? Like, I was waiting for her to come through a vent, which she does, and like chuck a cat at somebody. Like, where's the cat? The cat was in the vent, and then she comes out the vent, and there's no cat. You set me up with a cat in the vent, and I never see this cat. But at the same time, her sister Beth who like does stuff with electronics or something, makes power in order to power up the record player to keep listening to these records, because that's what we do. We keep playing the records. And we learned that you can't do nothing with these demons. Like, once a demon is summoned, like, they're just there. But then that becomes the question of, well, how did the demon get locked in the bank vault if you can't do nothing about it once it's out? Because obviously there was one out. So why do we even... Lord. So blah blah blah. Danny gets killed and Bridget becomes a... Well, hold on. I probably should have said that earlier. So Bridget gets possessed by the mom, so she's possessed. Danny gets killed by Bridget because he's dumb. And it's his fault anyway. So, you know what? I don't feel bad for Danny. I thought Bridget would have stayed alive, but fine. If we have to save a kid, I guess it could have been Cassie, which Cassie should have died anyway because her dumbass tried to open the door. They get out and stuff. So the mom, the brother, and the daughter like fuse together and become like this like weird like rat king creature thing. So they're just all this one entity that's trying to get to Beth and Cassie, and Beth and Cassie run into the elevator to like escape because again there's no staircase or anything. But here's my question. Like, so when the mom got possessed, the power went out in the building. So why are they getting to the elevator? And why is the elevator semi-working when there should not be any power in this building? Like, is the elevator running on a generator? Because that's stupid. And there are lights in the hallway, which I would give to if there was a generator in this building. But why is the elevator all of a sudden powered up, but there's no power in the rest of the building? Okay, keep that in mind, okay? And so they get to the parking garage, they try to get out, and of course, that foreshadowing before, they're hitting the button and the button doesn't work for the gate to go up. It does, for a very long time, by the way. But blah blah blah. They end up killing the demon through like this wood chipper thing that's in the basement, of course, because they kill the demon. But of course, if we remember the record saying that the demon can't be killed, then this demon's not really killed, okay? But Beth and what's her face, Cassie, they escape the building, and I guess they live happily ever after. Who knows? Like, but they left, right? Now, the next morning, this girl comes out of this apartment on the 5th floor. Now, all this action and craziness was happening, I think, on the 13th floor, so they were on like the very top floor. So you mean to tell me this girl didn't hear none of this like mess happening above and below her? She comes out and she's on the phone and she's talking to her friend, and it turns out that this is the girl who was possessed at the very, very, very beginning of this movie. And she's talking to the girl who, I ain't even talk about her, but anyway, it's the girl from the beginning of the movie who's in the cabin. And then as she's about to drive away, she looks in her rear view and she sees all the mess happening, and then out of the shadows, the demon decides to possess her. So now we know how this girl got possessed in the beginning of the movie, in the cabin that she's at. And then the movie ends. So now here's my question. So there's this book with teeth. I probably failed to mention this earlier because reasons. So the Nakamukanuka book that was found by Danny, when he opens it, like the book has teeth, and that should have been like your first red flag is to not open this book, right? But you know, so he pricks his finger, blood spills onto the book, and that's how it opens up. So now that this girl is at a cabin, and I don't know California, so if you're in LA and these people are at like a cabin in the woods by a lake, how far away is that? Because this girl just killed her 2 people who were there, and I feel like this demon is gonna run into like a nearby town or city and just wreak havoc. So is there gonna be a sequel to Evil Dead Rise? Because now you're just kind of leaving it open and wanting me to know what's going on with this girl at this cabin. Because this book is now in LA in a building that's going to be demolished in a month. So the only... Well, see, and the record said that you can't do nothing. Once the demon is unleashed, you can't do nothing. So... what are the rules of this universe? Because are there going to just be like demons running around the city, and then the next movie is just survivors surviving? Am I the only one thinking this? I can't be. I cannot. I can't. I cannot be the only person thinking this. Like, that's where you left me off of this movie. That's where you left me. Oh, and take that, rewind it back. When that Jessica girl left her apartment, right? It's the next morning, and she's on the phone, and she's like, "Well, there's no cell service like all night, and the thunder kept me up." Did she have power? Because the power went out in this whole building, which is still why I don't understand why the elevator was working on the 13th floor. And then they showed the staircase that collapsed from the 13th floor. This girl was on the 5th floor. So did the stairs stop somewhere below where she was still able to take the stairs out and not notice that the staircase wasn't collapsed? And did she have power all night? Because I feel like someone had to have like a GPS. Well, maybe her friends had a GPS to get to the lake, but was she able to charge her phone all night? She just said there was no cell service. She didn't say her lights were out. So how are the lights off here and there and not everywhere in this building? You guys know this movie's dumb. It's dumb. Like, I really wanted to like Evil Dead Rise, but like I have so many unanswered questions. I really do. I see what they tried to do. Like, I really see what they tried to do, but I can't. I can't with this movie, and my candle is about out. Oh man, I gotta invest in some long-lasting candles, y'all. If I'm going to do another segment like this. Well, let's get to the rating. Okay, so you can't really probably see them, but I got my 5 shot glasses, and I'm only giving this movie 2 shots. 2. That's all you get. I did not like Evil Dead Rise. Again, I see what they tried to do, but in the end, it just left me with a lot of questions, which I feel like I should not be asking these questions, but you left me no choice. And how much were they spending on this apartment? That apartment was fucking big as hell. I want to live in a place like that. Like, did you see these rooms that these kids had and the mom had and the you know what was also kind of crazy to me was the CGI, like the whole scene where the mom's they put her in the bathtub at the very beginning when she first gets possessed, and then she kind of like splashes into the water, but there was a weird bad like CGI like water splash Look, cheers. Oh God, shots and wine don't mix. Just letting y'all know. All right. Let me know what you thought of Evil Dead Rise in the comments. Am I crazy? Did everyone just have a good time and just leave the theater like doo-doo-doo-doo? Like, I hate thinking about all this stuff. Like, I don't want to think about all this stuff. I want to give good movie reviews, but I can't. Oh my God. Ugh. All right, y'all. So that was a good episode of the O Show. Thank you guys for watching. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. And I will see you all in the next episode. So... TTFN.